Hi, I'm Tom Landon from Blue Ridge PBS and Echo, and I want to welcome you to a very special program produced by our own Sadie Hartzog. It's the second in our occasional series called Field Notes, which captures live performances shot on location. In 2016, Roanoke Lee Hunsaker had a vision of a curated live storytelling event for Southwest Virginia. A writer who comes from a long line of storytellers, Lee started by hosting a series of small events, and the word grew. Called Hoot and Holler, the stories usually follow a theme, which can be anything from tales about first dates, frenemies, salvation, or even a life in drag. The program you're about to see was recorded at the historic Grandin Theater in November of 2021, and the theme for the night was Serendipity. It features tales of loss, love, and travel. Warning, these stories are told by grown-ups for an audience of grown-ups and may feature adult situations, so we've tried to take care to bleep any words that you might find offensive. But parents may want to watch the stories first and decide if they're appropriate for children. Finally, the views expressed in these stories are those of the storytellers alone and may not reflect the opinions or attitudes of Blue Ridge PBS or Echo TV.
All right, our next storyteller. Now, y'all, I'm going to need some leaning in on this one. This is a first-time storyteller. She has worked her ass off, and I've been pushing her hard. And she has risen to the occasion every time, and I'm super proud of her. She's a Roanoke native. She's the founder and owner of Divine Flow, a multi-layered holistic practice focusing on finding creative solutions to overcoming life's obstacles. She's trained with some of the top teachers in their fields to discover how to manifest best for her clients, utilizing a combination of Reiki, Feng Shui, space clearing, chakra balancing, elemental energy clearing, numerology, and oracle card readings. She lives in Roanoke, Virginia with her beautiful son and black Labrador retriever named Venus. Lean in, y'all. Bring the love. Please welcome Beth Fulp.
I kicked the bucket in September of 2007. I was 35 years old. I was at the end of a 7-year cycle of disappointment starting at the age of 28. If you're familiar with astrology, this period is referred to as the Saturn return. Around the age of 28, 29, 30, that's when the Saturn return comes for you. And Saturn is the planet of life lessons, hard work, and karma. It signifies stepping fully into adulthood, and I went there kicking and screaming. In those 7 years, I had experienced deep grief, betrayal, then divorce, and most recently, a broken engagement. I know I needed to make some changes, but first I needed a vacation. So I wanted somewhere calm and relaxing to sort out my life and gain some clarity. So I decided on a place called the Miraval Spa in Tucson, Arizona. Okay, I went big, okay? It was an all-inclusive 5-star resort with 2 spa services a day, organic food and juices, and amazing workshops. One that caught my eye was called the Equine Experience, and it involved working with horses. Now, I love animals and always have, and been curious about horses, but intimidated by their size and strength. My intuition told me this was the perfect place to connect with them. So I called up the spa, and the lady on the phone said there was only 1 spot left. So I took it as a sign, and I booked it. Next thing I recall, I was on an airplane heading to Arizona, and from there I took a shuttle to the Miraval, a place I still consider heaven on earth. Upon arrival, I immediately checked in my room, which just happened to be room 420. And then I managed to squeeze in a massage before orientation. When I arrived at orientation, the energy of the room was buzzing. Before long, the workshop facilitator named Wyatt Webb entered the room. There he is right there. He was the quintessential cowboy. Wyatt had a commanding yet gentle presence, and some have described him as part tough love, part psychic, and part Kenny Rogers. There was something quite mysterious about Wyatt. And before our group introductions, Wyatt took some time to tell us about himself. He started his career as a country music artist, so the song that was playing when I entered was his. And while on tour, he became an addict. From there, he went into recovery. And while in recovery, he studied various types of therapy, including using horses to help troubled adolescents. So after introductions, Wyatt pulled out a flip chart. And he started writing down profound ideas about fear and shame. I said, wait a minute, this is therapy? This is not what I signed up for. This certainly doesn't sound like grooming horses and riding through the desert. But on the other hand, this shaman cowboy was blowing my mind. Now, you can call this experience serendipity or divine intervention, but I know I was at the right place at the right time, and I could feel it in my bones. The next morning, my stomach was doing flips. We arrived at the horse ring bright and early and were greeted by Wyatt's $1 million smile. We gathered around him as he explained the exercise we were about to perform. And then he introduced us to the Arabian rescue horse we'd be working with named Dudu. The task sounded simple enough. We'd take turns going up to Dudu to clean his shoe. To do this, we needed to pinch the area on the back of his ankle, which is a way of asking him to lift his foot. And then we used a small tool to clean his hoof. How hard can this be? I'm just asking Dudu to raise his foot. After the first two people were unsuccessful, I raised my hand to take a crack at it. Like other things in my life, I thought I could get Dudu to lift his foot by sheer force and willpower. But as I got closer to this 2,000-pound animal, I became terrified. My stomach was in knots. My mind was racing, and my brain was just going 100 miles an hour. And I was thinking, what if he kicks me? What if I fail? I don't know a damn thing about horses, and what the hell did I get myself into? So I took a deep breath, and then I walked over to Dudu. I pinched the back of his ankle, and guess what? He did not lift his foot. So I tried again. I pinched and I pinched harder and harder until I became hot and flesh all over my body. And Wyatt walked up to me, and it felt like his blue eyes could see straight through my soul. Beth, what are you feeling right now? And what are you here to let go of? The thing that came up for me was anger. Anger. He narrowed his eyes and continued, at what age do you remember something bad happening to you and you felt anger in your body? Close your eyes and tell me when you have that memory. It wasn't hard to do. So I thought back to when I was 8 years old. My stepdad, he was drunk again, and he was physically hurting my mom. My heart was in my stomach. Adrenaline was coursing through my veins, and in my tiny hand was a wooden Jimmy Connors tennis racket. I was about to strike the back of this 6-foot monster when he turned around to face me. A tornado of rage rose up in my body and my heart was racing. With a clenched jaw, I gave Wyatt the nod that I was ready. Wyatt pointed to something white out in the ring. You see that bucket over there? Go kick that bucket. So I firmly walked up to that bucket and pulled my leg back, and I kicked the ever-living shit out of that bucket. I did. And I stood there afterwards, stunned. The sound of Wyatt's voice brought me back to the present moment. Now you go ask that horse to lift his leg. So I approached the horse, strong and centered in my body. No expectations this time. After squeezing Adu's ankle, he immediately lifted his foot. A whoosh of energy came over me, and I got goosebumps from head to toe. Something in me had shifted. Tears were streaming down my face. I was full of love and gratitude for this majestic beast. This beautiful, angelic rescue horse had now rescued me. Adu showed me what trust and authenticity feels like. It was pure magic. Before we left the ring, Wyatt told us why he named his horse Adu. He said the name Adu means goodbye forever. I knew I would never be the same. And they say the Miraval was built on a Native American energy vortex. And on the third night of the workshop, I experienced just that. I had the craziest, most profound dreams ever. There was fire, there was drumming, galloping horses, screaming, and scalping. Yep. I woke up at 3 a.m. in a pool of sweat, and in this lucid dream, I literally felt old fear and trauma leaving my body. Upon returning home, I felt the energy of everything. It seemed every time I looked up, I would see 11:11 or 1:11 on the clock. Here it is 14 years later, and I feel brave enough to share my story on 11:11. After the Miraval, more miraculous things happened. I met a man, I got married, gave birth to my beautiful soulmate son, who turns 11 next week. And guess what time he was born? 420. Yeah. You would have thought 11, but no, it was 420 in the afternoon. Yeah. So within the last 9 years, I've made a career out of working with energy. I now get to help others awaken to their intuition, let go of their old baggage, and overcome obstacles in their life. And so, yes, serendipity happened for me when I found myself sleepwalking into the Miraval Resort, kicking the bucket in the horse ring, feeling resurrected, and waking up inside my own heart. I'll always remember that fall day in September when I was reunited with the joyful spark I was born with.